Psychology confirms it. When a woman secretly wants sex, she won't say it, but her body will. Most men miss it. They wait for words, not realizing female desire evolved to stay subtle, guarded, hidden behind movements and energy shifts. By the time she consciously wants you, her body's already decided. High-value men see it before she does, and that changes everything. In this video, you'll learn the 10 subtle behavioral shifts women make when they're ready to sleep with you, and how to read them before the moment slips away. 1. She slows her movements. Her body prepares for intimacy. One of the earliest signs of rising sexual arousal in women is a noticeable shift in tempo. Movements slow down. Her gestures become more fluid, her transitions softer, and her speech more rhythmic, often marked by longer pauses between phrases. This isn't random. Psychophysiological research shows that as sexual interest increases, the parasympathetic nervous system activates, responsible for relaxation and readiness. This state is opposite the adrenaline-fueled fight or flight response. Instead, it quiets the body, lowers heart rate variability, and induces slower physical rhythms to prepare for intimacy. In this context, her slowing movements reflect not hesitation, but readiness. A nervous system cue that her body is moving toward receptivity, not away from it. This doesn't happen in casual conversation. It's a direct signal that her mental alertness is giving way to instinctive attunement. And it happens before she even understands why. 2. She subtly fixes her appearance, primal presentation mode. This isn't performative grooming. These are micro-adjustments done without thought. A subtle posture shift, the realignment of clothing, exposure of the collarbone, or tilting of the hips. It looks minor, but it's deeply rooted in evolutionary behavior. From a reproductive psychology standpoint, these acts belong to what biologists call presentation cues, instinctual behaviors across species where the female subtly signals availability by enhancing visibility of fertility-linked traits: waist to hip ratio, smooth skin, neck exposure, or fleshed lips. These are not conscious strategies. They're involuntary responses to perceived high-value mating stimuli. Behavioral studies confirm that women become more self-attentive in the presence of a desirable partner, adjusting posture and display angles even in low-stakes environments. What may look like idly brushing hair back often maps directly to subconscious biological imperatives of sexual selection. 3. She randomly mentions sex, then walks it back. Displaced expression. Sometimes a woman will casually bring up a sexual topic, mentioning hookup culture, referencing past flings in vague terms, or teasingly suggesting you must be popular. What follows is often an immediate shift. She laughs it off, changes the subject, or adds a clarifying disclaimer. This kind of language falls under sexual displacement, a concept in psychodynamic theory. It's the externalization of desire in a way that protects the ego. She's releasing tension without fully confronting it, projecting interest onto a safe, indirect container. Studies on conversational framing suggest women use third-party references, jokes, or sarcastic exaggerations to bring taboo topics into the dialogue while avoiding personal accountability. The key insight here is not what she says, but the fact that her language system is attempting to process sexual thoughts through controlled leaks. Her subconscious desire is surfacing, filtered through plausible deniability. 4. She acts defiant over nothing. Submissive tension release. Sudden teasing, mock defiance, or exaggerated disagreement over minor things, like calling you arrogant or doubting your story, can appear as flirtation or challenge. In reality, this is often a submissive resistance pattern, deeply embedded in human courtship psychology. Evolutionary behaviorists suggest that this dynamic mirrors early mate testing behaviors, where resistance isn't rejection, but a method of assessing dominance, composure, and behavioral consistency. It's not about content, it's about control. She's gauging whether you respond with stability or volatility. Studies in attachment behavior also show that short bursts of resistance serve as emotional calibration tools. They allow her to test the emotional climate without direct vulnerability. It's tension through resistance, not confrontation. A subtle check for congruence between your external presence and internal control. 5. She invites isolation. Her instinct seeks safety. When a woman casually suggests stepping away from the group, "Let's get some air," or "Come see this real quick," it often signals more than social preference. It's a strategic environmental shift toward privacy. In sexual and social psychology, this aligns with affiliative withdrawal, a process where people intentionally reduce external stimuli to increase emotional or sensory focus. Evolutionary studies confirm that environments of reduced visibility and fewer observers enable more authentic behavior, especially in females. These settings reduce social judgment and increase perceived safety. What looks like a simple change of scenery is often the body's way of asking for a safer container. And the nervous system seeks isolation when it's ready to escalate intimacy, not necessarily to act on it, but to remove noise so desire can be acknowledged internally without contradiction or conflict. 6. She touches non-sexual objects, sensory displacement in action. Her hand traces the edge of her glass. She slowly brushes her phone with her fingertips. These aren't idle movements. They're a form of tactile displacement, a behavior rooted in sensory craving. Neuroscience shows that when arousal builds without release, the brain often redirects that energy into nearby stimuli. This is particularly true in contexts where social rules prevent overt expression. Her need for touch doesn't vanish, it transfers. Objects become proxies. Studies in embodied cognition confirm that physical contact with external objects can temporarily substitute for direct intimacy. This isn't a nervous tic, it's an overflow of desire looking for an outlet. 7. Her breathing shifts. Autonomic alignment begins. Attraction changes oxygen patterns. When a woman begins breathing more deeply, more slowly, or experiences slight breath holds, it's rarely conscious. This shift is linked to autonomic nervous system activation, specifically the parasympathetic branch, which governs arousal and rest. According to psychophysiological studies, changes in respiratory rhythm correlate with rising intimacy. Deepened breath signals comfort. Short, interrupted breaths often indicate emotional anticipation. More interestingly, synchronized breathing, when her rhythm aligns with yours, has been shown to trigger limbic resonance. That's when two emotional systems begin regulating each other. Her body doesn't just like yours near, it's adjusting to match. 8. She exposes vulnerable skin areas. Evolutionary surrender signals. Sleeves pushed up slightly, a shoulder left uncovered, a slow stretch revealing the side of her neck. These actions are subtle, unspoken, and almost always subconscious. In evolutionary psychology, these are signals of exposure, behaviors that mirror vulnerability and trust. The wrist, neck, and collarbone are highly sensitive and biologically protected zones. When she reveals them, even briefly, her body is expressing nonverbal openness. This mirrors behavior in other mammals, where physical exposure of soft areas indicates trust and deactivation of threat responses. She may not register what she's doing, but her limbic system is sending signals of nonverbal permission. 9. She says, "I don't usually do this." Cognitive dissonance surfacing. When a woman whispers, "I don't usually do this," it's rarely about the situation, it's about the internal contradiction she's processing. This phrase is a classic example of post hoc rationalization, where the mind tries to catch up with the body's decisions. In psychology, this maps to cognitive dissonance, a conflict between self-image and current behavior. Her body already wants something. Her mind is trying to protect her social identity. The words function as a bridge, a way to preserve both desire and dignity. The presence of this phrase marks a critical moment of internal alignment. She's not looking for reassurance. She's naming the conflict as it dissolves. 10. She matches your rhythm, the final signal of sync. When she unconsciously adjusts her tempo, matching your speaking pace, your body language, your emotional cadence, it marks the deepest layer of attunement. This is biological entrainment, a phenomenon where two people fall into shared rhythm at the nervous system level. Research in interpersonal neurobiology confirms that when synchrony occurs, the brain releases oxytocin, commonly known as the bonding hormone. But in courtship, it does more than create trust. It primes the body for connection. This kind of rhythm matching isn't planned. It's reflexive. It's the final unspoken sign that she's no longer responding to your presence. She's harmonizing with it. Female desire was never designed to be obvious. It's encoded in gestures, breath, and rhythm, signals most men never learn to recognize. But when you understand what her body is really saying, the game changes. You stop second-guessing, you stop chasing, and you start leading with clarity, because you're reading signals that were always there, just hidden in plain sight. If you want a full breakdown of these hidden cues, get the 25 Forbidden Signals She's Secretly Into You cheat sheet. Each signal is decoded with psychology and built for instant clarity. Links in the description.